Hey y'all, it's Sunday, June 15th, Father's Day. It's later on. It's a little cool here in New England. Like, it's only 59, 60 degrees. It's a little chilly at the beach. But I have my wool sweater on, so I'm good. I just want to say that today has been a hard day. I think I need these. It's been a hard day. I mean, for me personally, it's the first Father's Day without my dad to say Happy Father's Day, but we speak on the etheric anyway, so I have that advantage. But besides that, people can't live forever, right? But they live forever in our hearts. We need to call it what it is. The onslaught of terrorism in the United States of America and the misuse of our military. And you know what? I know that they're not happy about it. I know that the army isn't happy about it. I know that yesterday was their so-called military parade. Well, Dumpy's so-called military parade, which we know he, in his malignant narcissism, had to have a big to-do. If he thinks he's not popular, he can force himself. He can do things like this to make him. It's kind of like going overboard with. If I have the entire military, then that will mean that I'm popular, right? That will mean that I'm important and special. Totally out of the playbook of Kim Jong-un. But I don't feel like we're going in that direction. I don't feel like we're going in the direction of North Korea. I feel like what's going on now is that we get to see what we're made of, what the American people are made of. We're made of a 250-year solid democracy with lots of challenges and lots of balancing acts and lots of missteps. But we're still a government by the people, and don't let anybody tell you that we're not. So we're doing kind of a balancing act because it's like, yeah, great turnout, amazing, no King's Day protests, and then we have people like Ron DeFascist. That's what I used to call him. Ron DeSatan, Ron DeFascist. Literally saying if you see protesters, like basically if they're bothering you, just run them over. And I've seen ICE SUVs running down a sole pedestrian who challenged them in terms of kind of hanging onto the vehicle. Very few incidents like that. I said it before, I'll say it again. It is a miracle that as far as the protests went, millions and millions of people, and not one fatality. I'm not counting the assassination of our representatives in Minnesota. So it's hard. It's been a really, really hard day, and I'm gonna pull some cards. I wanted to be outside because it just feels better outside. And I'm gonna just kind of wait until the tourists pass. This is what we do in Gloucester. We do tarot cards on the rocks. I want to speak to the picture that I saw of Dumpy and Kegsbreath side by side at the quote-unquote military parade. I took a screenshot of them, and there's something up. They looked absolutely preoccupied and absolutely freaked out. So I wanted to delve into that a little bit. When I did, I saw that they had agreed to something that they're regretting. And it does have to do with the Kremlin, and it does have to do with Putin demands. I'm not going to get into that too deeply right now, but I will pull some cards now. So I got a new deck. I can't remember the name of it last night. I think I called it the Derelict Moon, the Derelict Tarot, but it's actually called the Deviant Moon Tarot. Really cute. If I want to switch up the nefarious cards with another deck of nefarious cards. I used these last night for a pop-up. I just want to say that I know the people having their minds in the right place, focused on love and staying connected and building stronger connections and holding the line. That's our ticket. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards about what the hell is going on. What is on the minds of Dumpy and Kegsbreath? Kegsbreath. I like Kegsbreath. I'll pull 3 cards to get some insight there. They promised something that they just really don't want to deliver. Surprised there's this many people out on the beach, because it is quite chilly. Okay, so this 7 of Swords, yeah, this is this has to do with the Kremlin celebrating how far they've gotten. Putin celebrating how far he's gotten with Dumpy. So something's up. The 7 of Swords, Putin's telling them to give him the keys to America. And the Queen of Pentacles says that the people rebelling is energetically kind of putting a stop to it energetically. But Putin feels like he has Dumpy over a barrel because he does. Let's take a look at Kegsbreath. I mean, I was kind of asking about both of them, but let's just take a look at Kegsbreath and his fate. I actually get the word resign, like I think he might resign, but I don't think that gets him off the hook. I feel like Kegsbreath and Rubio and there's another one, are in the same boat. Stephen Miller, but I'm picking up on somebody else who's in charge of the military, that they're all in the same boat. So as far as Kegsbreath goes, the 6 of Pentacles, yeah, he's in it for the money. Kegsbreath is in it for the money. The King of Pentacles and the King of Wands, but he's kind of between a rock and a hard place, because he has to pledge fealty to Dumpy and Putin. So he has no power. Kegsbreath he's powerless to, as far as getting himself out of this conundrum that he's in. And he really is floundering. He's really, I use all these ocean metaphors. Overboard, floundering, and over their head. Between a rock and a hard place. I can't help it. Let's take a look at the army. And actually I'll use different cards. So they weren't walking in lockstep, and that was intentional. I know I've seen people online asking, do you think maybe they were protesting? Absolutely. They were protesting. I saw a clip of probably a protester going up to a couple of National Guardsmen in LA, and they said, how do you guys feel about being here? And he said, do you like it? And you might have seen this. And they said, no, we don't want to be here. So there you go. Okay. So I'm pulling 3 cards on our military. Nobody looked happy at that parade. Nobody looked happy at that parade. So how does our military feel? They feel isolated. They feel left out in the cold. Absolutely, makes sense to me. Queen of Pentacles is coming up again, and the 4 of Rods. I actually think that the army, the military, most of them are right now making plans. It's interesting, the Queen of Pentacles came up again. Making plans to not defect or anything like that, but just how they're going to proceed now. It feels like the military in general is right now in general deciding, might be with the generals that are not MAGA, to take a stand for what they believe in, and they do believe in defending the United States Constitution. This is their country. They don't want to see it go all fascist. So, and the Queen of Pentacles, interesting that that's coming up. But the Hermit makes the point here that our military is feeling left out in the cold. Like, and actually it's true, because Dumpy's not supporting them at all. He's just using them. So let's just see where that goes. And then I'll cut this short because it's just a pop-up. Kathy Beal and I are doing a show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. So our military, what next? What next for our military? Page of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, Page of Swords. I have pages. They're going to find their power. They're going to find their power. Our military knows what's going on. I don't read cards upside down. I get a lot of pages lately. Page of Pentacles, Page of Swords, Knight of Cups. I get an unusual amount of page cards. And the page cards just recently, especially the past month, and it's really kind of struck me. I've taken note of that. And I feel like that's pointing to the power is not with the people in charge. The power comes from the bottom up. Remember Joe Biden was really working to make America a country where, once again, you know, the middle doesn't suffer, the regular people don't suffer, that we get our power back. The military is kind of set on that. So I would say that they will reestablish their commitment to upholding the Constitution. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but it does seem like the pressure is on. Today feels like a high pressure day. It feels like something is about to break. And I think that those murders of the Democratic representative in Minnesota were, I feel nobody has been untouched by that. Anybody with a heart and a soul has not like forgotten that or just like brushed it off, because things are getting real serious. So take heart. Things will be rocky. I think we're getting kind of used to that. And I think that this is where we find our spiritual strength. And I think, like I said, a Church of Spirituality today, and if you watched, thank you for watching. I think that we're becoming aware of that we have to call on our highest potential and the higher power that created us. And there are cosmic forces. There are angels. There are huge sailboats. There's going to be a huge sailboat coming by in a moment. There is a divine order. And human civilization really goes through a lot. But we're still here. And we're going to make it. And yeah. And some people have a lot of money. Hang on a second. I can't enlarge it. It looks smaller from your view. But anyway, it's a pretty day. Keep the faith. If you need to book a reading, it's psychicannetdion.com, and make sure you check out our show tomorrow. I have a lot of questions for Kathy Beal in terms of the astrology. So far, it's just been spot on. All right, we'll see you soon. Hang on. Namaste. Be well.